shutdown is once again looming, with Trump saying he might fire federal workers instead of furloughing them. The American Federation of Government Employees condemned this threat, saying that federal workers should not be political pawns. Every week we start the show with a segment we call Last Week in Southern Labor to talk about what working folks in the American South and the American colonies were up to. The bosses get a lot of coverage about what they're up to, so we like to talk about what workers were up to. So here's what workers were up to from September 20th to the 27th. In new union campaigns, 130 workers at Technica in Jacksonville, Florida, filed a petition to hold a union election with the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, IAMAW. 19 workers at the Institute for Women's Policy Research in Washington, D.C., filed a petition to hold a union election with the International Union of Painters and Allied Trades, IUPAT. Local 1937, 2 workers at CBRE in Washington, D.C., a commercial real estate and investment firm, filed a petition to hold a union election with the International Union of Operating Engineers, IUOE, Local 99. 8 workers at Ready Mix Concrete in St. Genevieve, Missouri, filed a petition to hold a union election with the Teamsters, Local 600. 100 workers at Amentum in Jacksonville, Florida, filed a petition to hold a union election with the IAMAW. 50 workers at Talent Burst in Christiansburg, Virginia, filed a petition to hold a union election with the United Steelworkers. 88 workers at First Student, a school bus company in Grandview, Missouri, filed a petition to hold a union election with the Teamsters 838. 14 workers at Starbucks in Brentwood, Missouri, filed a petition to hold a union election with Starbucks Workers United. Workers likely pushed by their employer filed a petition to decertify the Teamsters. Local 89 is the union representing 10 workers at BFS Group in Louisville, Kentucky. And in election results, 174 workers at M1 Support Services in Norfolk, Virginia, voted 118 to 22 in favor of unionization with the IAMAW. 8 workers at the Texas New Mexico Power Company in Alvin, Texas, voted 7 to 0 in favor of unionization with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, IBEW Local 66. 15 workers at CGB Express in Fort Myers, Florida, voted 12 to 3 in favor of unionization with the Teamsters, Local 79. 41 workers at Breakthrough Beverage, Missouri in St. Louis, Missouri, voted 28 to 6 in favor of unionization with the Teamsters, Local 600. 16 workers at Education West Virginia, the merged NEA-AFT affiliate there in Charleston, West Virginia, voted to switch unions from the West Virginia Professional Staff Union, NSO, to the Communication Workers of America, CWA, with 14 voting for the CWA, 1 for the NSO, and 0 votes for no union. 17 workers at Nan McKay and Associates in Jacksonville, Florida, voted 13 to 4 in favor of unionization with the Independent Association of Public and Private Employees. 7 security guards at Allied Universal Security Services in Washington, D.C. seemingly did not vote at all. There were no ballots cast in an election where union rights for security officers was attempting to raid a unit currently represented by the SPFPA. Since no one cast a ballot, now they have no union.
Hey, 5 seconds, just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate.
In strikes and bargaining updates, workers at Boeing in St. Louis, Missouri, who are unionized with the International Association of Machinists, IAM, remain on strike now for nearly 60 days. The union and the company will meet to begin negotiations again next week with a mediator. Reuters is reporting that Boeing isn't feeling much financial pressure from the strike, due in part to the fact that these workers primarily produce defense products, and the government has already paid for said products. Microsoft has announced that they will no longer provide cloud services to the Israeli military after continued worker pushback against the policy. Volkswagen in Chattanooga has put an offer on the table that they call a last best and final offer for the workers, members of the United Auto Workers Local 42. Such offers, as lead negotiator for the union Chuck Browning points out, are rarely ever the last, the best, or the final. The offer does not meet the core demand of the workers, parity with the big three automakers, but it's unclear yet if workers will strike to get a better deal. A resolution that had been previously introduced in the city council to support the workers in their fight for a fair contract has been withdrawn by the sponsor at the request of the Chattanooga Area Labor Council because it appeared the votes weren't there. Members of UFCW Local 74A who work at McCormick's Distilling Company in Weston, Missouri, ratified a new contract that the union says includes wage increases, more paid time off, and more. United Campus workers at the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, are calling for a raise, delivering a petition with 1,000 signatures to the university president. Bus drivers for the city of Mobile, Alabama, unionized with the Amalgamated Transit Union, ATU Local 770, were able to beat back an attempt to take away their pension and replace it with a 401k. In political and legislative updates, a shutdown is once again looming, with Trump saying he might fire federal workers instead of furloughing them if the government shuts down. The American Federation of Government Employees condemned this threat, saying that federal workers should not be political pawns. And the Federal Bureau of Prisons canceled its union contracts. AFGE condemned the move. If we missed anything, let us know. You can send us a note at tvlr.fm/contact, or you can send us a voicemail at 844-899-TVLR, which is what Joey did when he told us about a new union campaign in Florida. Let's play his voicemail.
Hey, guys. Yeah, this is Joey Leach down in Florida, organizer for the Security Police Fire Professionals of America, SPFPA. We got an organizing drive and organizing campaign that we've filed an election for over at the Port of Tampa with Martinez and Company Security. That's a security force of a little over 20 officers. They're subcontractors for Allied Universal, the major port security company that we've already organized for. All right, if you could show them, always in support, solidarity.
Thank you to Joey. If you want to get where he was, that phone number is 844-899-TVLR. That is 844-899-8857 to leave us a voicemail. And Dan says, clearly a Florida native. Not actually a Florida native. I think he's from Boston. You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.